properly because I almost always do it wrong the first time we are streaming.
There, you can see my thumb. Isn't that neat?
That
made it worse.
Are you trying to clean it? Like, what the hell are you trying to do?
It looked a little out of focus, and now it
looks a lot out of focus.
A lot, yeah.
Definitely made it better.
Let me use this thing.
Okay.
There we go. That's quality.
Yeah, no, that's great video. I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Look at that.
I love it.
That is my keyboard cover.
Oh, okay. Why do you? Oh, never mind. I don't.
For my like MIDI keyboard. Because I do not use that very often.
All right.
Make sure. Have you done your challenges?
Yeah.
I've spaced out on them last week, and that'll weigh heavily on me for the next couple of weeks. In all our glory.
All right. Watching myself delayed is very weird.
Just about gone now, but I had a wicked sunburn last weekend.
From
it was peeling, and I looked like a weird zombie mummy thing at work.
Well,
just because we got a big wooden playset, like a slide, some swings, and a little fort thing, that a friend of ours' parents gave to us because they were selling their house. Yeah. And we went and spent the whole day outside breaking it down, hauling it over here, putting it back together. And bald dudes in the sun with no sunscreen, just that's a bad time.
Yeah.
So
I get that. Let's see.
Episode number 152.
What's that? Oh, the episode?
That's what we're... Yeah.
All right.
I'm like the best YouTuber. We're streaming and I'm just like poking fingers in my eyes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wiping the screen with my greasy finger.
I think your greasy finger was not on there quite yet, but maybe.
Maybe.
Science has not yet found out. If only there was a way to go back and watch.
Oh, I need to fill out who I'm grinding, because we're going to be talking about that.
Yep. I don't know who I'm grinding. All right, looks like we're actually... Sounds like we're actually doing this, right? Derp. How do I chat? I gotta go to the bottom. Is it showing up in the thing? No, cool. Get more of that beautiful face of yours.
Yeah. As I look at it, I really need to trim the stash. I'm getting the curl under.
That's no good.
The mouth disappears. See?
It's like a qualish, isn't that what they're called?
Oh, what?
The qualish. Isn't that the race in Star Wars?
That sounds...
Hang on. No. Come on.
Foreign?
Aqualish.
Aqualish. Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Baba.
There you go. That's the guy. It's you.
I like it. I've always liked Ponda Baba. He had a stylish orange jacket. And actually at Celebration, I saw someone rocking a jacket like that. And I was like, you know, it actually looks pretty hip. You know, it's kind of got like a retro vibe, and it doesn't look like a Star Wars replica thing. It just looks like a cool jacket.
Yeah, well.
Advertising for McDonald's here.
Ooh, McCafe.
They're our new sponsor. They've been supporting us.
I mean,
no McMoney.
Oh, that'd be nice. That would be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who am I grinding? Let me fill that out.
Mm-hmm.
What is a grind? It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need that. Got that. Rose. You're grinding rose?
Yeah, buddy. Want to make something of it?
I don't know. Some people do, though, apparently.
Yeah. We'll talk on the who you grinded.
Shall we?
I don't have to defend questionable grinds to you.
You have to explain yourself to me.
Right.
I
saw who you just typed in there. I don't have to explain myself to you.
What? These are all good. These are all good characters.
Most of them are.
Yeah. That's all I really need there, I think. All right, I'm good.
All right.
I'm ready to get this party started.
I guess I'll record. Check my level.
Check these levels.
Check these levels.
This is where everybody who's actually watching the live stream can hear us cuss if we wanted to, since it's just on our recording.
My.
But we don't cuss. No cusses. That reminds me. Did you see the theater that changed Hellboy on the sign to Heckboy?
No.
It's so good.
Is that out? The new Hellboy?
It came and went like a fart, dude. It apparently was not great.
No, I read a review and it was just...
Yeah, which is too bad. But it was a lot like a fart. Apparently it was horrible and everybody pretended it didn't happen.
We all like David Harbour, right?
Yeah, he was great in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. No one's good in Suicide Squad.
I don't know. I have some reverence for Suicide Squad.
How dare you, sir? What do you possibly have a reverence for in that? It's a horrible.
It's dumb fun.
No.
There's much more bad than good. I grant you that.
I will not brook this conversation. What is defensible?
There's a Will Smith fun action vibe.
Okay, Will Smith is not horrible. He's not good.
I mean, this is not a hill I'm dying on that I like this movie.
It sounds like it.
I mean, Jared Leto's Joker is
worst Joker. I mean,
hard.
I don't know.
That's hard to watch. And I mean, especially when every other Joker has been so good.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, he really steps into the shoes of some giants and just tripped.
Just takes a dump in them.
Yeah. He took a dump in Heath Ledger's shoes. Yeah, there's a part where the helicopters gets shot down and he's like, got to escape. He goes, "This bird is baked." And he like hops out and it's so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one to decry plot holes in a movie, but man, you could drive Holdo's capital ship through some of those.
And I mean, you look at the squad; it's supposed to be like an ensemble, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
And it's, I mean, it's basically Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and then a bunch of schmucks. You know, like, you don't care about any of these other people.
Well, there's like the part with Captain Boomerang, like, he has this stuffed unicorn. And the reason he has it, it's never explained. It's just they thought, oh man, it'd be so great if you just randomly had this unicorn. It serves no purpose. They show it once. It's not like a thing. I knew I wasn't gonna like it.
We're gonna get hate mail for dissing DC's masterpiece.
But we would get mail.
Squad.
So
yeah, hey, there we go. Okay, that's how the internet works.
That's
right.
Have
hot takes.
That's right. I mean, I'm sure saying the Suicide Squad's a bad movie is sizzling hot.
Sizzling hot, I know.
Look at that. We got people watching. Hi, everybody watching. All those hundreds of people. We've almost equaled our celebration audience already.
Turns out, like, someone from my town who, like, I know was at our show. Well, I, like, know someone who knows him. Like, I'm pretty closely connected to him. Was at our show at Celebration. And I did not know that.
Is that why they were there? Like, because they were peripherally associated?
I hope they also are Star Wars fans.
Well, I assumed that much was probably true.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. So, small world. I suppose we only live a couple hours from there, so it's not.
That's true.
Huge stretch to run into people from your town.
I mean, if somebody staff new showed up, that'd be a little different.
It'd be a little different.
You want to do a show?
Let's do a show.
Let's show it.
We should.
Yeah.
All right. Boshuda, fellow Hollow Table Hustlers, you're tuned to Radio Free Tatooine's
You gotta start over.
War.
Start it.
I could have edited that. I could have gone with it.
Nope.
Gold.
No, I need to be ready to pounce when you intro me. To go hi.
Okay.
I don't have a drink down here, so we're just gonna roll with it.
Boshuda, fellow Hollow Table Hustlers, you're tuned in to Radio Free Tatooine's Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, aka the other Sean, and sitting across the hollow table from me is John, aka the uncanny Mr. H.
Hi. Nailed it. Absolutely. We've got some topics tonight. It's a kind of a bit of this, bit of that. The news this week, big news, is Padmé is coming to Galaxy of Heroes. And so we're going to talk about that and what we expect with the release of that event. We're going to talk a little bit about some newly grindable characters. And we're going to spend some time on mods specifically for Territory Wars. What you and your guild can do with your mods to increase your effectiveness in Territory Wars, because that's kind of, you want to win, got to get those Zetas somehow, right? I mean, you do technically.
We don't. We're working on it.
We get 2/3 of our Zetas.
Yeah. We're getting participation Zetas.
Oh, don't say it like that.
I mean, some of us are.
Well, you calling yourself out right now, Sean?
I am. I do. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a train wreck. But we're going to talk about some of the steps that we're taking as a guild. I feel like, now stop me if I'm wrong here, because I might just be speaking for myself, and everyone else in our guild will hate me for saying this. But
safe bet.
I feel like most other content creators are like real cagey with Territory War advice because they want their guild to win and they don't want to share secrets. And I'm not calling anyone out in particular, because I mean, like, there's no one example of this person won't share their secrets. But like, it's not a thing that I see a lot. Like, I don't see suggestions for Territory War teams or strategies or anything like that. I feel like that's a really close guarded secret. And I don't feel like we guard ours that much, and I'm cool with that because what we're doing doesn't usually work. We're just sharing advice of what we hope to be doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I mean, it's PvP, so I understand it, but I don't know necessarily if it's a matter of them not wanting to give away company secrets as it is. They go where the clicks are, and I don't think there's probably clicks in that.
Oh, I would click that, man. I love having ideas spelled out for me so that something as intimidating as territory wars, I can just be like, you know what? Here's a list of a bunch of teams. I could put this together. I could run this. So it's I always relate stuff back to Magic the Gathering, but it's like net decks.
Ugh.
There's no finesse. Well, I shouldn't say no, but there's less finesse when you're playing a net deck. You didn't craft it. You didn't, try out different combinations or anything. You just read 60 cards on the internet that work together. You put it together, and now you're doing well.
Well, and 20 of them are land, so
sure. But there's a time and a place for that. Territory Wars seems like a place that I'm pretty cool with letting someone else do a little bit of legwork, and I look at a list and say, here's the recommended teams that I can put together. And if you have to improvise, you have to improvise. But there's a reason why people use certain teams, bounty hunters, for instance, or Night Sisters. There's certain teams that just do things that no one else can. So anyways, we will get into that. We're not going to talk about those specific teams that I said would be great for clicks.
We're going
to talk about mods instead.
Yeah.
But we'll get into all that. First, I want to give our official obligatory Patreon advertisement.
It's true. We are actually obligated by law to mention our Patreon since we don't have a SoundCloud.
Yeah. Right. No, we appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. If you listen to the show regularly and you have the ability to give back, if you find value in it, we certainly appreciate that. We put all that money back into the show in whatever way we can. That made celebration possible in many ways.
Yeah. And we actually might have some other stuff lined up in the future where we're gonna. Would be very helpful to have that some more stuff that we can't talk about yet, but it's in the works.
Improvements to the show and some events and some just stuff that we have lined up. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about you. We're thinking about us, but we're thinking about you.
We're thinking about us thinking about you.
Yeah, it's a loop.
Yeah,
it's loopy. So let's get into the week's news. First up, I want to talk about Anakin Skywalker because he in this game, just like he is in Star Wars lore, there's a bit of a debate regarding whether or not he's the chosen one.
Sure, right? Sure.
So he was chosen to be nerfed. But was he? Was he chosen? And so Capital Games came out today and said, yeah, we're not doing anything with him right now. They've been watching him. They increased his usefulness a lot with his. Did he have a rework or a tune-up?
I would.
He had a rework.
Yeah, it has to be.
I'd say he. Yeah, abilities changed. So, they reworked him recently to kind of go along with the changes to Ahsoka and General Kenobi, kind of prep us for some Clone Wars action. I'm sure this will kind of coincide, with the territory battle that's coming for Geonosis. This is all a theme, and you can't have good Clone Wars content with a lackluster Anakin. So they beefed him up, and people noticed that you put some good mods on this guy, like really good mods on this guy, and he just wrecks things. I mean, his offense is ridiculous. So, there was some talk of, okay, well, this guy's beating Malik. Malik is supposed to be kind of the crown jewel of Galaxy of Heroes right now because he's the most difficult unlock ever by far, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 effective hero's journey characters coupled with 8 characters you had to grind.
Yeah, who had to have Gear 12 or Zetas,
right? Or
both. Yeah, exactly. Or both, just for a practicality standpoint. You may need some of those abilities, but at any rate, they want Malik to be able to perform well, and I mean that's how this game goes. The hot new thing, if it doesn't perform well, we've seen that too, and that's not ideal. Right, John, with your droids? Correct.
My droids are good, Sean.
They're good droids, John.
Yeah, they're good. They're all good droids.
They're all good droids. So, anyways, they said they were going to be monitoring it. They didn't say they would nerf him, but they said they'd be monitoring it, and that was everyone's fear, is that like Anakin's finally good, and they're going to ruin it. They're going to take him away from us. And yeah, something could still happen, but they came out today and said that they've been monitoring, and it doesn't look like any action is necessary. He's not so dominant. He basically can beat Malik, but he is not like the answer. It's not an automatic win. It's like a 50% win chance from what they've been seeing. I believe they said like 8,000 matches that they studied were showing like on offense your win rate was about 50%. So okay, cool.
That's an even
on
match,
defense, right? Win was only 20%. So that's not absurd. That falls in their guidelines of what's acceptable for how strong this character is, who has existed. He was a launch character, right?
Anakin?
Yeah.
He was a launch character.
Yeah. So, I mean, when they rework a launch character, you can expect that that's not going to be the meta. That's too easy. And however you feel about the business practices of it, I think that's just kind of like smart to make it so that suddenly everyone who has this character that was useful 2 years ago is now dominant. Like,
see, but that's a philosophical difference of having the meta, right? The whole point is you don't want there to be a meta. To have one of the top teams be able to use a launch character is good. It's inclusive. I mean, if every character you need to be top competitor is all extremely difficult to get,
like you said, you don't want like team.
You never want that
exists in the meta. So if Anakin was too strong, then that invalidates all the work that people put in for Malik, and that's definitely not what is wanted. Nothing gets people saltier than that, and I understand that.
Especially because it came right on the heels of it. It's not like Malik had a good run, and then Anakin came along. But again, Malik and Anakin have nothing to do with each other, right? It's not like there's a special interaction. It's just that Anakin happened to get really good again.
Particularly, yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. So your Anakin is, in my opinion, pretty safe.
Mine's fine. I mean, he's like 6 stars, 5 stars.
Oh,
my Anakin. He's not great.
What gear is he at?
I've been working on him. Oh, let me look. Someday.
I know you've never been big on. I don't remember you ever really using him.
No, I unlike some people who run out of stuff to grind in the cantina, I'm always grinding something, and I never had leftover energy for Sky Guy. I neglected my Jedi's bad for a long time. I mean, they're still not good.
Yeah, I did too. You probably did worse.
Well, yeah, the implication that I have fixed it, which is not the case.
Right. You've taken steps.
I have
taken steps into the larger world.
Yeah. Let's see. He's I'm sorry, he's at 4 stars. I'm grinding him now. I'm just not grinding his Cantina node yet because I'm finishing up somebody else. But yeah, he's gear 10 though. One piece from 11. I mean, unsurprisingly, the reason I started really working on him is because I wanted to use him with clones. So not because I wanted to do anything with actual Jedi.
That tracks.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely,
it's on brand.
They did also announce that people were quick to point out that Kenobi got a Zeta, Ahsoka got a Zeta, Anakin didn't get a Zeta, and some folks were bothered by that. Many were just perplexed by it. He's getting a Zeta.
Quite a few people also called the shot, and they were right.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly makes sense that he is getting a Zeta to kind of complete his synergy with Padmé. And so when they hadn't announced Padmé, they couldn't exactly give him that ability yet. So that's coming. We don't know what it is, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. And I look forward to that. I think they're a fun trio to run, him, Snips, and Kenobi, but we'll wait and see what Padmé brings, and if there's more content coming, what that brings. I mean, this is the start of the Clone Wars season.
I'm really hopeful that they're any good. Like I said, my clones are good. They're gear 12, all of them. I've got the only Zeta possible. No, that's not true. 5 says a Zeta, doesn't he, nowadays?
5 says a Zeta, yeah.
I do not have...
He's had it for like 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't have 5 Zeta. Even I'm not that crazy. If I don't have a bad Zeta, it's real bad Zeta.
That's a Clone Wars Chewie bad Zeta.
Oh, God, I forgot he had one, too.
Yeah, he's got one.
Yeah.
So that also kind of ties into the fact that they're now trying to clearly define reworks versus tune-ups.
Yeah.
To just get that lingo out there that reworks are when a character significantly changes. They change the abilities or, add an ability like a Zeta or something like that. Versus tune-ups are what they're going to be doing more regularly to just kind of slightly boost a character. They're not changing an ability. They're just like upping their damage output or their protection or whatever, like slight kind of tweaks to the numbers, not to actual mechanics. And I am all for more tune-ups.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand that there's testing that needs to be done, but it's less work than a rework.
To be fair, that also
a new element.
It is an excellent segue though
for testing.
Yeah.
So we're testers, John. We're testers.
I mean, technically, last time we had access to a test environment. We didn't really use it much.
Not much. But now, John, it's different.
It's different this time?
We'll see. Yeah, it's a different account.
Yeah, I mean, currently, we're not allowed to stream anything on there. There's nothing... I don't think you can do videos on it yet. It's very closed.
Beta, yeah, exactly. The Game Changers have access, including us, to this test server where we can test out new content. And, that's pretty cool. Lets us prep for the show a little bit more intelligently. In theory, we'll see. We're not exactly good at what we do, so we'll see.
I mean, it depends on how you want to define what it is we do.
Right. I don't know how to define what we do, but
we do defy
I
it.
guess we're good at what we do. We just don't do
Good things.
good things.
Yeah. We're good at doing bad things.
We are the best there is at what we do. But yeah, that's kind of exciting. I've played around with it. If nothing else, it gives us access to, high-powered versions of characters that we don't have high-powered versions of. So we can actually test out existing stuff, but also new content. So very cool.
Yeah.
And what else do we have? So John, we talked about droids earlier.
Yeah.
They gave you something, right? I mean, so you can grind the new separatist droids now.
I can, yeah. B1 and Droideka are now farmable. B1 is on a 20 energy fleet node, and same one as the Xanadu Blood, is it? Or is the IG-2000?
Yes. Nope, Xanadu Blood. Which I just finished, so that's
perfect. Neat. And Droideka is on a 20 energy hard node. So
does it share anything on there?
Man, I don't know.
I feel like there's a ship on there with it.
I can look real quick because are you faster than me?
We're gonna find out, buddy.
Because I have Droideka favorited still.
Oh, Droideka's with the Xanadu Blood.
Oh, then who's B1 with?
What got with
that? A whole lot of nothing. Not even any good gear. Brutal.
Yeah. Reinforcement abilities. That's what. They're mats.
Who cares about those?
No, not me anymore.
Who even uses ships? I'm not exaggerating, but yeah. So
people with Millennium Falcons, uses ships.
That's fair. I'm a little irritated. I mean, you took away the eight attempts to 5. I get it. It was temporary. Cool. The 2 characters I want, like the only 2 characters I'm like, I actually really want out of the last 8 released.
Yeah.
Are released on single hard nodes now, and the attempts are reduced. And one of them is Fleet, which is 100 energy to refresh the energy for.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this: what all are you grinding from Fleet?
Nothing. I've been grinding gear from Fleet. I should be grinding a lot of things.
So you'll earn 100 a day.
Oh yeah. But if I want to actually grind them at any speed, I'm gonna have to refresh probably energy and attempts. So
now, did you buy their packs when they released?
Heck yeah, I bought the packs.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, I got them both at 4 stars. I got them both at gear 11 to the point where they can't get any more gear until they're 7 stars. Yeah. And I zated both of them already because, that's what I do. And I do love the mechanics of both of those characters. But I guess I don't really care if B1 gets a 7 stars because it's functionally no different. It's kind of like gearing
for the potential unlock for Padmé.
Yeah, I don't need all that business though. My separatists are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Sans bugs, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about that
a
little bit. So Padmé, we don't know much about her. I'm sure she'll be Galactic Republic, but
unless they're gonna make it an Naboo faction, that's about all I can think of.
Right. So she's coming. We know that she's going to be legendary, which in the past has meant unlocks at 5 stars, and that she requires separatists, which in the past means any separatists.
Right. Legendaries generally require just a faction tag, not specific characters.
Mm-hmm. So this is not going to be another Malak. No.
And they gave us a lot of lead time.
They have given us plenty of time to work on it. The fear that I have, that many have, is you look at recent events, and they've been tough. Like, real tough. So,
Sure.
how good are your separatists? How ready are we for this? I mean, everyone's, well, not everyone, obviously, but a lot of players, most end game players, and I think probably most people that listen to the show, have a team of 7-star separatists that they can throw together.
Probably.
And how good is that team, though?
How
Who
good
you
is your?
got? What's
me?
Your plan? Yeah.
Shoot, I'm fine. I got Grievous, Ventress, B2, IG-100, and Count Dooku all at Gear 12. And then I got B1 and Droideka at 11, Poggle at 10, and then some also rans. I mean, my plan right now is probably to do a Dooku lead with Grievous, Ventress, B2, and Magna Droid behind him. Just because I don't think Grievous. I guess either Grievous or Dooku.
Yeah.
I don't think Dooku's lead is amazing by any stretch, but I think I've been very clear on how I feel about Dooku's.
Yeah, his lead is fine. It's not amazing. It's fine, but he's a real useful character.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm going to use him. The problem is that squad I just described is very offensive. But it's what I got. I mean, if I need to level up Poggle and some of the bugs a little more, I can. I mean, my Newt is 7 stars because, why not? But he's Gear 1. I haven't touched him.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm hoping my top 5 Gear 12 Zeta, tunes can get done. Especially since they're Grievous is maxed out. Ventress is like one piece of gear away from maxed out. B2 is close. They're not just Gear 12. I was using
plus, yeah.
I was using those fools in Arena for a while recently. So
yeah.
Again,
I think you're in better shape than me.
Yeah, well, if my B1 and my Droideka, if I could have been grinding them, but if I recall, your separatists are trash.
They're not trash. I think they're average. So
the two are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, that's true. My focus recently, as soon as they announced the territory battle on Geonosis, I started thinking, okay, who's going to be needed for this? What characters will be required? Obviously, and they said it was going to be Darkside. I thought, okay, so I mean, some make sense. Like Dooku makes sense. Jango Fett makes sense. He's not a separatist, but some of these characters seem legit. But what I went all in on, and we'll see how dumb it was Geonosians. So my Geos are ready to party.
That's good.
They're coming to the Padmé party. And we'll see. I got them all up to 11.
Okay.
That kind of stopped there because I have other things that are less insane to do. But
so who's the fifth in that? And who's
been probably Dooku lead. I mean, Poggle's lead is dumb.
It's not terrible.
They get 30% offense.
You're gonna need everything you can get with the bugs.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that spills over to droids too. So if I have to, I can slap B2 in there.
Say your B2's good.
Also, Gear 11.
Yeah.
I've got let me pull up my tag. I think my only Gear 12 is Asajj. Yep.
Man.
So, I mean, we'll see. I've got a good Grievous. I mean, almost all of them are a good gear level. Dooku's only 10, Newt's only 9, B1's 9, Magna Guard 9, and Droideka's 7. Which sounds like a lot. I guess it is. But those Geos, my B2, Grievous, Asajj, we'll see.
I mean, depending on what the event's like, but in my head, Poggle lead with the Geos and B2 sounds like the best option. But your offense is going to be bad.
Too,
see, I was thinking a Newt lead.
That could be a sleeper.
just because the Geospy actually doesn't hit bad, if I remember.
No.
And Newt will
Not at Gear
help
11,
that.
he does.
I mean, doesn't he?
We'll see.
We'll
see. But the Geos have the added bonus of their ships. Their ships are good, and I run Falcon. My fleet is, the ships themselves are like maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yes, I could take some more mods up to 6E, but that's all I can do to improve. So I've been shifting my focus over to Geos and their ships, and I feel like worst case scenario, I've got a pretty solid B team for fleets,
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I mean, the thing is, for me, unlocking Padmé would be pretty cool, but it's not like, I don't know. I guess now that I think about it, I am pretty ready for a good Padmé, because my Anakin's just about there. My Kenobi's maxed, and my Snips ain't far.
So. I mean, and something to consider too is they're releasing her right around this territory battle. It's not unlikely she's going to be needed. I mean, CLS is needed in Lightside Hoth,
right?
And he's a hero's journey character. So, I mean, she might have a node or a battle somewhere in the late stages, which would make sense.
That's going to be when they release the light side version.
So, correct. So you'd have a little time.
So you won't need it right off the bat, but there's a very good chance that she'll be used.
I think most of these kind of things, they show up 3 months or so afterwards, depending on how quickly they're going to release the light side version. You might get a second go at it.
Yeah, I think interesting that Ahsoka fits on that team with Anakin and Kenobi, but she was not at the Battle of Geonosis. So I don't think she'll be needed, but I could see Anakin and Kenobi and Padmé. I mean, they were the 3 prisoners, right? So
it'd be kind of cool, actually, if they restricted it to a 3-person team for like the Acklay mini raid or something.
Oh, that would be kind of neat. Yeah.
I mean, it won't, but it'd be cool.
But it would be neat if. All right, so that's all we know about Padmé so far. Let's transition into some territory mastery. What do you say?
I like territory mastery.
So our focus for territory wars is, and it hasn't been for long, this is something we've been talking about a little bit, but we're just finally starting to push the guild in this direction, is mods. We get outclassed on mods, and
a lot.
Our thought is you can have all the Gear 12 teams you want with the Zetas. If you're going up against similar teams with better mods, dude,
you're going to lose the mirror match in that regard every time. Mods are the tiebreaker, which is why I actually like mods as much as I hate them, is they're the tiebreaker. Right. Otherwise, it's the exact same characters.
The value in having them in the game. Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, you would just max out a character
and you're done.
Just done.
Right.
And I remember doing that when you would max out a character and you're like, well, I never have to work on that character again. And then, of course, the level increases or mods or whatever.
Yeah.
Priority number 1 for me involves using, we've had Grand Ivory on the show before, and I honestly, like, number 1 priority, get yourself acquainted with the mod optimizer. There's too many teams in territory wars. You can't go through and handcraft every mod scenario that would make sense for characters on all those different teams. You need to use it. So hop on Grand Ivory's mod optimizer, and there's a bit of advice here. So I suppose before you do that, you kind of have to know what your teams are. So your guild should have that ironed out. Like, we need 25 first order teams.
And if they don't,
25 trade teams. We need 25 whatever.
And if they don't, it sounds like it's time for you to step up and start getting something organized.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, but once you have that figured out, like, so okay, maybe you can't put up a Traya team. Cool. But what teams in your guild are you filling that role for, right? Do you have an Ewok team? Do you have a Jedi Knight Revan team? Something like that. Kind of figure out what ones you have and pick like what, I don't know, 5, 6 teams to start. I mean, I do more than that. I personally, I probably run like 10 to 12 I'm sorry, teams between defense and offense
Yeah,
that I
I'd have
focus
to
on
go
for
and look.
mods.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, you have to consider your raid teams. Like, so in territory wars, I don't really use resistance trooper much, but in raids I do. So I have to kind of think about that too, because you want to be able to contribute in a meaningful way, whatever raid your guild is on. But you know, you can't forget those characters. Fortunately, the crossover is pretty strong. Night Sisters are great in the Sith raid, and guess where else they're great? Territory Wars. So same with Jedi Rey, and her whole team is pretty much like I said. I sit Resistance Trooper in Territory Wars, but other than that, it's about the same team. So you figure out what your priority teams are, right? You go in and you use the optimizer, and we can talk at length about that. But I mean, you basically want your arena team first, then slot in your other teams and characters accordingly. That's up to you. You come up with a list, that's great. Your guild can kind of brainstorm those, and that's cool too. But once you've got the best mods on the teams that need them, now look at it this way. If you went through 10 or 12 teams and you put all your best mods on those characters, I think a pretty safe next step is to go through and just sell off your garbage mods, because all your good ones are on characters at this point. You're not going to, worst case scenario, if you sell a mod, it's not going to be a 25 speed mod. Oops. You know, Mod Optimizer has used up your best mods.
Sure.
So now you can go in and start selling them off wholesale. Take all the grays that you have left or something like that, you know. Only keep an eye out for like grays with 5 no, grays don't have any speed.
It would be green.
Unless they're leveled up. But I mean,
then they're not grays anymore.
Speed secondary. Look out for, well, I mean, you can level them up to 15 and they'll gain some things and
but
still
they're
be
not
gray. But
don't they turn a different color when you do that anymore?
No, you have to slice them.
That's right.
Slice gray up to be green, right? Used to be.
Yeah, my brain's tired.
But anyways, yeah. So once you've optimized, go through and sell off a bunch of junk mods. Get yourself some wiggle room, because you're gonna need it, because you're gonna be grinding. That's the next step, is to grind. So it's important to know which mods to buy. You only, from the mod shop, they're so expensive. I mean, we're talking like what, 3.91 million for a gold mod, I believe. Make sure it's worth it. You want 5 speed on that sucker. You want a gold 5 dot mod. Don't buy anything but 5 dot. A 4 dot mod is just don't buy it.
Yeah, I really wish they would take them out of the shop, really, because
you can't slice it. It's just bad.
It's dead weight in there.
So you want 5 dot mods with 5 speed, or if it doesn't have that, it better have something else to speak for. But the 2 big secondaries to focus when you're selling or when you're grinding is speed and offense. Speed and offense. So anything that doesn't have speed or offense as a secondary, it's pretty safe to dump that stuff. And then you want to slice them up. Now, slicing could be I don't want to say most difficult part of mods, but it can be a challenge.
You run out of mats real quick.
And when you get enough, you look at all these mods that you could possibly slice. And there's a couple bits of wisdom that I will drop for this.
Ooh.
Oof, look out. It's raining wisdom. One is if you've run the mod optimizer, look at your, assuming your arena team is your top 5, without much thought, you can slice those mods up.
Sure.
Those ought to be your 30 best mods. So give or take, but those are all pretty safe to slice up. They're all going to have speed. They're all going to be a good combination of whatever the secondaries are. So you can do that. Once you kind of get past that point, you start looking at all these territory war teams that you have, or territory battle teams, or whatever your other teams that you prioritized in the mod optimizer. And it gets intimidating. So what I do is I go into well, here, I'm going to pull it up so I can actually intelligently speak about it. Mm-hmm. So I'm pulling up a character right now, Geonosis Spy. All right. I go in and do manage by the mods, right? And you can find or sell or any of that kind of stuff. If you go in there and filter, it's easy to sort out which ones are your priority mods, even if they're on characters that you wouldn't think would have your best mods. So you can go in and for a secondary stat, select speed and confirm. So now it is only going to be showing mods with a speed secondary. Now you sort by speed. And the reason you did that filter is so that it doesn't show just a bunch of speed arrows, because those plus 30 speed arrows are going to be mixed in with it, and those are not necessarily the best to slice. They may be. So now you have a list of your best speed secondaries. Very easy to access. You didn't have to go to swgoh.gg. You didn't have to look at any other resources, which I love that site, but you didn't have to go there for this.
Right.
You actually have an in-game way of sorting your mods by speed. Now look at which ones are on there that are not 6E. Those are the ones to slice. Or depending on where you are at the game, like look at the purple ones.
Yeah.
But any of the ones toward the top of that list, do it. Slice them.
I was looking at it the other day trying to sell off some mods to make room, and it would only let me select 4 options in the secondary fields. And I was like, I want to select all of them except speed. So like if it's not speed, I want to get rid of it, but it didn't make it easy. You can only do, I think, up to 4.
You can, when you're selling, you can sort by speed and then flip it. Right. Or no, you don't even have to flip it. If you sort by speed, it puts your worst speed at the top.
Yeah.
So that's something else. While selling, remember to use those filters and sort options, because it makes selling so much easier and it makes slicing way easier. Now, you can do similar things with offense too. Sure. But like I said, speed and offense, I usually just kind of prioritize speed. And every now and then I'll sort them all by offense and offense secondary, because again, your offense primaries are like, they're squares. Who cares?
Whatever. And the occasional circle, right? Isn't the
triangle? Triangle can have offense, or the
arrow can, yeah. But I don't see a lot of those.
You want to sort by the secondaries because those are where the real magic happens. So, I mean, by doing that, you can take your good mods and elevate them to the next level. And that is what that territory war opponent that keeps beating the snot out of you is doing. They're smart about their mods, and as you step up your mod game, you're going to be seeing an easier. You're going to be having an easier time in territory wars. So
right.
That's the thing. Now, so say you've done the optimizer. You have sold off all your bad mods to make room. You're spending energy and credits whenever you have enough to grind out some mods, and you're slicing them. Cool. You've done all this stuff. What's next? Go back to the beginning. Repeat. It's an ongoing process. You have to the optimizer, it takes some time. If you're doing a bunch of teams like that, it takes some time to move all those mods and some credits.
True.
Hopefully you'll be selling off enough mods that it's not going to put a big dent in your credit account. But it'll cost you some. So, I mean, my advice with the optimizer, do it once a month, every couple weeks. If you're doing it every day, you're throwing credits away. It's takes too long and costs too much. But once a month, just run that again. And if you write your list down or save it somewhere, it makes it a lot easier, because otherwise you're putting a different list in and it's going to have you move hundreds of mods that you probably don't need to move.
Yeah, Sean's a big fan of paper anyway, to have it written down.
I love it. So anyways, that's I'll step off my soapbox right now, but that's my mod advice for managing all those teams in Territory Wars. If you can get your whole guild to do that,
yeah.
And I'm talking to you, Black Sun Heroes. That's it's an afternoon well spent. I mean, just
productively spent, perhaps.
I'll tell you, right? I'll tell you, when I do an optimizer and sell and grind and like kind of get in a good mod place, it feels good.
Yeah, I bet.
It feels like my characters are healthy. They got their shots. They're all fixed.
Yeah, you got them back from the vet.
I'm a good character owner. So yeah, hopefully that'll help you master some territory.
There you
go. Let's talk meta.
So there is a meta. The top 2 spots on the leaderboard take up 97%. This is real bad.
They are.
Well, sure. They is relative, since it might be the same person.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Is it Revan?
And
I'm guessing the other one's Revan?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then
Tale of Two Revans.
So with the number of reporting here, there's 72% with Darth Revan, 5,400 first place teams in this sample size. Next is Jedi Knight Revan at 25% at around 1,800, give or take. The next after 1,800 is 52 with CLS. Then Palpatine with 50, also at 1%. And then it's sub 1 into the, 30 people took Bastila, 27 with Traya, 15 with Talzin, Grievous 3, Zombie 3, because that gimmick worked for a minute. And
what is that? Gimmick?
Basically, Zombie eats all the damage because the AI targets them first. And it doesn't do a good job of switching off of them. So as long as Doc is behind her and stays alive, it just doesn't matter.
So just like a 2-man team?
No. Basically, you put them on. I'd have to look at the actual build. But it's
interesting.
It's like the AI doesn't know what to do. It just keeps coming back. And
okay.
In HK47, 2 people managed to do that. And then it just gets sadder.
I was about to say, it's already pretty
dreadful. There is definitely the number 21 spot tied with Asajj Ventress, I might add, is Ugnaught.
Yes, the naughty one.
One person, again, cannot stress this enough, the same number as Asajj Ventress. And Kylo Ren unmasked.
Yeah.
And a cup. The Questra Cup is real. So I don't know how that happened, but here we are. So it's the Revans, which is my new sitcom I'm pitching. It's the Revans.
And the supporting cast of 8 is
So on the character side, you got Fallen Bastila at 73, Darth Revan at 73, so they're tied. HK-47 at 71, Sith Trooper at 66%, Darth Malak at 63, and then you're into the Jedi side with Grandmaster Yoda at 26, Jedi Knight Revan at 25, Jolie at 24, Good Girl Bastila at 17, and Jen Ken at 13. And then,
speaking of the two Bastilas, is it just me? Like, I in my head call, so there's Badstila or like Darth Karen or whatever. Has anyone called her Nasty Basti?
I think it's a good choice.
Because that's what I've called her for a long time in my head, but I realized the other day that I'm like,
yeah, that's good.
I don't think I've ever actually said out loud Nasty Basti, but
Nasty Basti and the Emo Boys.
I love it.
I was thinking Bad Girl Bastila, calling her BGB. And then Good Girl Bastila could be GGB.
GGB.
BGB and GGB. Yeah, so that's the meta. It's bad. Unless you have Darth Revan and or Jedi Revan. In which case...
And Malak.
Malak helps.
Yeah. Yeah, so my little CLS run just continues to be a blast. I'm telling you, what frustrates me so much is like the meta team I can beat. It's the team that has a wall of like 50 players till I get to the meta team.
Yeah, no, I have that problem.
I can beat, but
that's like my problem down in the dregs where I'm at. I come across a Revan team, I beat it, and everything else just kicks me in the ribs while I try and hang out up there to find more Revan teams to beat up on.
Right.
It's very, very upsetting. But I guess those Traya teams got to eat too.
Yeah.
And they choose my teams.
Speaking of characters that are going to get eaten by meta, who are you grinding?
Well, currently, again, now, is B1 Androidica. I already did their full complement of energy and then refreshed once today. And I will probably do the same tomorrow. I'll probably do it that way until as long as my crystal sold out. I'm also grinding GGB because I do still want Jedi Knight Revan. Want is relative. I am grinding.
You're making small steps toward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the precipice of Jedi training Rey. So,
right.
Anakin, as mentioned earlier, I am grinding, and for the aforementioned Jedi training Rey, I am grinding Old Man Han. I'm almost got him at 6 stars. It's such a stupid long grind for those guys.
I remember, not fondly, but I do remember.
And then on that day, I will find a way to use those 2 idiots that I grinded to get Jedi training Rey. I don't know how. I don't know when.
I bet if you max them out, you could do some things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Put them behind a Kira and.
Sure, yeah. Kira makes pretty much any scoundrel usable, to some degree. Besides, Mob Enforcer.
Well, she's got a tough time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
she needs a tune-up.
I'm in kind of a weird place. I am gearing up the 3 Jedi, or 2 of the 3 Jedi that just got reworked or touched up with my Kenobi and my Anakin, because I do want to try them with the clones, also operating the assumption that they will eventually get a rework, those clones, and maybe Plo Koon.
Them and the Geonosians for me.
Well, that's what you got to figure, right? One for each side. The Geos and then the clones will probably be the 2 big ones.
There's a chance we'll see them both. Yeah.
Because they said in their last Road Ahead that they were going to slow down the release of characters to a degree and instead focus on reworking some. I don't know how that's going to pan out, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
Who are you grinding, sir?
Bugs. Still the bugs. No, I'm doing a bit of other stuff. So still working on Aura Singh. She's 6 stars and I don't know, like 40 out of 100 or so.
Sure.
Not doing any Cantina refreshes because I'm just going
Yeah.
through the motions there.
You gotta spend it somewhere.
B1, moving to Fleet.
Ooh.
I love it. So
just
I'm
because you got
grinding
nothing else to
that.
grind there?
That and Karth. I do Karth first. I didn't put that in the list. I better
I really want to grind Karth
for
just
the
because
sake of
I love how much that team rules in 3v3 Grand Arena.
yeah.
And I already have. I'm the dummy and brought my Zalbar and Mission to Gear 12 already. So
Okay, all right. They're fun. I love them.
Yeah, they're good. I use Zalbar a lot.
They're fun.
In Grand or Territory, anything where I would normally actually have my Chewie and Han. I instead put Zalbar and young Han, and it works out okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing 5 a day of Karth, and then B1 whatever I got left over for energy.
Sure.
For hard nodes, I'm working. I finished Jolie, so when Revan comes, I finally get Jedi Knight Revan. I'm so excited. But my hard nodes are going to Rose and Jango Fett, and my reasoning for those, Jango Fett, because I suspect there's a decent chance he'll be one of those required characters in some part of a dark side territory battle, since that's really half of what you see of Jango Fett in the movies seems to be that battle. So I'm working on that, and then Rose is one of only 2 Resistance characters that I don't have at Gear 12.
Who's the other?
So, Resistance Pilot, because she kind of fell off the team when they released more like, R2
Holdo,
and
Rose.
VPA. Holdo, yep. So I'm working on those. Plus, I also think that so few people use Rose that it's a good little sneak attack.
Yeah, no one's gonna know what to do with her.
Exactly. Like, no one is well versed at taking out Rose. Like it's not. And I mean, when you really look at her kit, I think under a Jedi Training Rey team, you got a lot of options out there. I mean, there's plenty of good versions of a Jedi Training Rey, but I think Rose could be fun to work with on that. And of course, with The Rise of Skywalker coming out in December, like, here we are again looking at First Order and Resistance, like, okay, we might be needing these for something. So that's my hope. For gear, trying to focus on Separatists.
Tough.
Because I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but trying to do Separatists, and at the same time, I want to be able to use my Jedi Knight Revan. So I'm like 1 by 1. I got Bastila at 12 the other day, and so now I'm trying to get Grandmaster Yoda up to 12, and then once he's there, I'll probably shift over to Jolie.
Yeah,
they're both at 11, so I mean they're like, and Zated. I mean, the team is pretty much ready for Revan to show up and start wrecking some face.
But I think my Jolie is at 0 of 30 shards with 3 stars.
Oof. Yeah.
That's the last one I have to do to get Revan, but
yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That's probably 2 rotations
and
away.
Then ships, I'm just working on bugs. That's all I really have on my radar. So next Zeta, I don't know. I'm an impatient person, so can I hold out to put them on Jedi Knight Revan?
No.
Or am I going to slap one on Rose because I really want to? I think I'm going to slap one on Rose, most likely. Or, I suppose, we'll see. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to hold on to one for the Padmé event. See what Separatists work well, and maybe think, okay, well, Dooku needs his Zeta. I guess I'll give it to Dooku. Whatever.
I was thinking to give to Padmé, but I mean, that's probably smart too.
Yeah. I mean, if I can clear it without investing a Zeta where I don't want to, cool. But I've been in this situation before where you get to an event and you have Zetas or Omegas or whatever to invest, like the 3PO event. I had enough for 2 Zetas, I think. So I slapped one on Chief Chirpa.
Sure.
And I beat the event. And I thought, okay, I might need one for Wicket, but I didn't. So Wicket never got that Zeta. And he may never get it.
In a completely unrelated note, as we have begun live streaming our shows as we record them, which, if you want to watch, great. We have some folks watching now. But I can see my webcam, and I can see as I slowly deflate as we've been recording this show.
Oh yeah, I can't see you.
Yeah, because I know the broadcasting software eats my camera, but like I sat down, I was like, oh, I feel pretty good how I look on camera tonight. Good. And then as I've looked slowly but surely, I'm just like hunching over. I'm like in the bottom corner of the camera now.
John signing out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend. I don't know. We recommended some weird stuff.
We did not recommend ETH Koth because despite the fact that Galactic Republic is going to start getting reworks, let's not get carried away.
Let's not do that. Galactic War Report is brought to you by Radio Free Tatooine and our Patreon supporters, such as the Draconian Order. As always, we're thankful for the help. To see the full lineup of shows, head to radiofreetatooine.com. We thank you for listening, and if you like what you hear, please share your support with a rating and or review through your podcast medium of choice, or consider supporting the show at patreon.com/radiofreetatooine. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you. And that's a wrap.
Yeah, and Nev, I do have it on mute. That's why I can see how I have deflated, but Sean doesn't have it up. Because he's a busta. I have it up so I can chat on a little bit at least.
Oh, look at you, Chatty McChatterson.
I mean, not kind of really. We are still streaming for what it's worth, by the way. So still no cussing.
I'm going to say it.
Do it.
I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Honestly, I was out playing Age of Sigmar last night. I didn't get home until like 1:30. Yeah. And then I crawled in the bed, and it was just like, I've been so tired all day. And now here it is. Here it is, 5-1. And I'm still up.
Done early.
Yeah. I might be in bed by like 1:15.
Oof.
If only. I'm so tired. Well, guys, thanks for checking out the stream. For those who've stuck with us.
Yes.
It will be most Thursdays when we record the actual show. You can watch me slowly deflate as the night goes on. I gotta get my camera to like track my face so it follows me down.
The incredible deflating John.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna sign off. Hasta luego.